Hey everyone, it's Ben, and today we're going to take a look at the third in a series of jungle-inspired knives from Tops. It was designed by Craig Powell, their general manager. It's the Yacare, coming up right now on Living Survival. Today we are looking at the Yacare, new for 2017 from Tops, designed by Craig Powell, their general manager. A lot of people want to see a comparison between the Yacare and the Chete, designed by Leo Espinosa. Two great medium to heavy duty choppers, in my opinion. Not so much traditional machete, even though this is the Chete and this one's called the Yacare machete. I wouldn't necessarily put them into that category. I'd put them more in a chopping sort of all-around category. Of course, with the machete you have typically a longer blade, you have a more flexible blade allowing you to clear brush, clear light saplings, small twigs and things like that in a jungle environment. The Yacare, again, third in the series of jungle inspired knives. Of course, we have the Bracamo and the Tanamboka Puko, all fantastic knives for 2017 from Tops. So sticking with that medium to heavy duty category, let's take a look at these two side by side. The Yacare has an overall length of 15.5 versus a 17.5 on the Chete, so you have 2 more inches there of knife, making it heavier. Of course, with the thicker blade spine, you have 3/16 of an inch 1095 on the Yacare, and then you have a 1/4 inch of 1095 on the Chete. So the Chete definitely heavier at 29.5 ounces versus the 17.7 ounces. Definitely lighter, definitely more nimble. You can feel that right off the bat when you hold these two in your hand. Acid rain finish on both of these blades versus the black traction coating that you're familiar with from Tops. Some people would argue that it doesn't slip through wood quite as well as an unfinished surface or an uncoated surface. I beg to differ. I think it works just as well. Big fan of their black traction coating, although it doesn't look the best once you beat the blade up. These seem to look a little bit better, so welcome addition to these two blades, again with that acid finish. The Bracamo and the Puko, of course, have a tumbled finish, which is similar, more of a stonewash type finish than this acid finish. Nonetheless, loving the uncoated options from Tops. The Yacare is going to come with their standard nylon sheath versus the Chete that comes with the Kydex sheath. You are going to pay a little bit more for the Chete, not only for the sheath, but the thickness and overall length of the steel. You're getting more with that Chete. I do have to say, although I'm not a huge fan of the sheaths, the standard sheaths from Tops, this one actually fits the knife pretty well. The handle does recess down into the nylon a little bit, so although it still doesn't have the best retention, it has better retention than some of the other knives I've seen. So definitely something to consider, possibly upgrading that sheath in the future. Let's take a closer look at the blade there. Again, you can see the high grind on it. Tops calls it a high saber grind. Razor sharp here. Got the Tops logo on there. Again, that sweeping belly back to the handle. Let's take a closer look at the handles here. Black canvas micarta with white liners. Looks fantastic. You've got 3 tubes here running through the center of the full tang. 3/16 of an inch 1095. You've got the lanyard hole on the back. Very comfortable in the hand. You've got a little bit of a protection from slipping here out the backside on the back, and you've got a little bit of a finger guard here. So overall, nice design on the handle. This blade does want to chop. You have to keep in mind that it's, in my opinion, more of a medium chopper than a heavy chopper. If you swing really hard, the handle does tend to slip a little bit, even with gloves on. So you're going to want to use that lanyard if you're planning on doing some heavy chopping. I'm a big advocate of using the right tool for the job. So again, with a medium-sized chopper like this, you know, I'm just going to use it for medium type tasks. I'm not going to ask too much of the blade, and although this particular knife can handle it, you know, you do have some compromises with slipping of the handle, for example. Just for fun, let's sink it into this stump a couple times, and then we'll do the same with the Chete. Definitely slices its way right in there. Let's take a few swings with the Chete. Wow. Definitely more power with the Chete, being that heavier blade, longer blade. Same amount of effort, that thing sinks right in. Let's attack a piece of seasoned oak. Pretty good penetration. Nowhere near splitting it. Again, good penetration. Just not going to be heavy duty enough to split something like that. Same piece, I just flipped it over to the other side. Let's try with El Chete. Wow. Let's try something a little bit smaller with the Yacare. There we go. The Yacare is definitely more light and nimble. You feel it right off the bat when you pick it up compared to the El Chete. Just a lot faster. Definitely going to be better for smaller wood processing tasks, smaller, brush clearing tasks. When you want something just a little bit heavier though, you might want to consider the El Chete. Now these are probably unrealistic tests, the stump tests, and these, larger chopping tasks that are more suited for an axe, but it's good to know what your knife will be able to handle, and it's also good to do these type tests, or whether you do chopping or batoning, to test the edge retention of the steel. So I've got a smaller piece of wood here. Let's do a chop comparison between the two. The El Chete definitely going to be able to handle splitting down larger chunks of wood with that extra beef behind it, but let's see how it goes with the 10 chop test between the two. Again, I'm not going to give it my all. I'm just going to let the tool do the work. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in killing myself and running out of energy out in the woods. I'm interested in knowing what the tool can do. That's 8. 9, 10. So nearly made it all the way through there. Pretty impressive for sure, for as light and as nimble as the Yacare is. If I was working it a little bit harder, I probably could have gotten all the way through, and I'm sure just another hit or two would go right through this piece. So now it's El Chete's turn. Let's take 10 chops. That's 6. So the El Chete, clearly the winner in the chopping department as well. While we've got it, let's do some smaller chopping here on the bottom of this log. Blade is so sharp it just drives itself right into the stump here. Definitely a bit overwhelming and fatiguing with this heavy knife. You can try to go light, but it's just a tank. It does not want to go light. Much easier and much less fatiguing with the Yacare. So with any knife, always like to try out the finer stuff, and although this can get it done, obviously not considered a knife for finer tasks. I am getting a hot spot here because there really isn't a place to choke up on this handle to do that finer work. It's got pretty much a one position handle hold on it. So, you know, I'm not a fan of the one tool option. I would always have a backup tool, whether it's a Swiss Army knife, a folder, you know, or even just a smaller fixed blade to do this finer stuff. But if you had to do it, it can do it. Same goes with the Chete. It can do it. It's not doing it as nicely as the Yacare. You do have that choke up position on the handle here with that front choil in the handle there. But again, it's just such a heavy knife that you're gonna fatigue fast trying to do this little stuff with a big knife. So in my opinion, a machete is a longer tool, a flexible tool that allows you to cut vines, small saplings, and basically clear brush. Now, although the Yacare is capable of doing that, again, I would put it in a different category. I'd put it more in a camp, just a overall good camp tool, maybe a hunting tool, something that you could pair with a smaller knife, for example, and get those camp chores done. It's definitely capable. I love the acid rain finish on it that they've been putting on some of their knives, and I think overall the sheath, although a lot of people dislike the basic top sheath, they put those in there to keep their prices down. For this particular knife, I think it actually works. The Yacare chops well. Of course, it can baton, it can do those smaller tasks like making sticks, making traps, and of course it can clear some small brush. Again, I would use a larger machete if I had a lot of brush to clear, again making it a good overall choice for a overall multi-use camp knife. I do like the fact that the Yacare is light and nimble, a lot more so than the Chete, which is heavier. Again, it's not going to chop quite as well, but it's going to be lighter. It's going to be less fatiguing over time. And again, both of these knives are going to get it done, whether you want the heavier duty or the medium duty. I'd like to know what you guys think of the Yacare. Please leave me some comments below in the comment section. I'm going to leave a link below to Amazon where you guys can pick one of these up. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Please give it a big thumbs up for me. Make sure you share the video to your friends and family on your social media. And if you haven't done so already, click that red subscribe button. And also make sure you click that bell to be notified of new videos.